Pablo Picasso were still alive, what you'd have to say about this? Probably something along the lines of, "You look gorgeous." Good morrow, ladies, gents, and non-binary friends. Welcome to New Skills, a series of creative workshops made by working designers for V&A Dundee. My name is Saturn Satanis, and I'm a Dundee-based drag artist originally from Brechin. Today I'm going to show you a little bit about my creative practice and how I create a monstrous mug, as seen on my series over on Instagram. So, grab a snack and come on back. My design story is pretty bland. I wouldn't say bland, I'd say traditional. I'd say it's pretty traditional. In that I was a very artistic child. I was always in my own world, drawing, painting, sketching. Even when I was meant to be studying in class and paying attention, I would be drawn in the margins. I'm sure as every other artist has in their life. And it continued until high school, and I became more and more enamored with things of fantasy and like Greek mythology. But I knew I wanted to study art when I left, so I decided to go to Duncan of Jordanstone, which is a college of art and design, which is based in Dundee. And I did the foundation course, which means you do like a little bit of everything, and then you choose a specialty. I chose jewelry and metal design, which, in hindsight, I think I should have chosen fine art, but that's hindsight, it's 2020, you know what I mean? Yeah, when I was studying jewelry and metal design, I kind of fell into the world of drag. I started competing at a local drag show competition called Divas Drag Race. Shout out to anybody who remembers that. Fierce. I was creating looks and concepts, and I was using my skills as an artist to kind of transfer into my drag. And once the competition ended, I kind of just didn't stop. I just kept going, and I fell in love with it so much, and it's kind of everything to me now. And it's given me family, like queer family, and it's given me everything that I needed as an artist that I felt like I was kind of missing. Now, I design a lot of things. I make prosthetics, I sculpt wigs, I make accessories and jewelry, I upcycle a lot of things. I like all things punk, so I like to design a lot of things that are kind of edgy looking and spooky. I made this hat right here out of an old flower box and an old mouth prosthetic from another piece, which was actually for this clown. I like to work with paint as well. As you can see, I've got some in my hair. I like to do some acrylic pouring on unconventional items. I did an acrylic pour onto a plastic Celebrations lid, and then cut it into a moon and stuck it on my head. But look at it! Isn't that cute? I sometimes sew full garments as well. Not very often, but I sometimes do. What I design honestly depends on the concept and what it is I'm going for. My connection to V&A Dundee actually goes back to my time at DJ CAD. We were in lectures being shown schematics and slideshows about how it was going to look, and the memory has stuck with me that I thought, there's no way they're going to be able to build this. This is insane. Like, it looks like it's a building that looks like a cliff. Like, how are they going to make this? My naive mind at the time, I guess. But now, I literally walk down the waterfront and it's right there. And I think, oh my goodness. And it sticks in my mind because it's such a testament to design and what is possible, in that anything that you put your mind to is possible. We're going to get started on our drag tutorial now. Well, I say tutorial. If I tried to give you a full tutorial, it would probably be 3 hours long. But I will take you along for the ride and show you how I create a monstrous mug. So, let's go from this to this. So before I do anything makeup wise on my face, I always start by gluing down my eyebrows. Now the way that I glue down my brows is I go back and forth and coat all the brow hair, and then I brush it up, and then I wipe away the excess, and then brush up again with the glue stick to flatten them down again. Once you've got your final layer of glue on those eyebrows, I powder, beat it right into the face, and press it up the way. Alright, now that we look like a naked mole rat from Flushed Away, time to get on with the brows. First, we're just going to put on some contact lenses, and then I'll sketch out some eyebrows and fill them in with eyeshadow, and then carve them out with foundation. It's okay for eyebrows to be sisters and not twins, okay? But one thing they cannot be is enemies. They have to at least look like they like each other, you know what I'm saying? Always use a primer. Your skin will thank you. We're going to stick some blush all around here. And now because this is Medusa, I'm actually going to take my wig cap down, or put another wig cap over that, just to get some scales going up in this. I'm going to take some white cream foundation and I'm going to go underneath the brow and all over the eye socket, getting ready for some eyeshadow. We're going to create a ring just above where your normal eye socket line goes, so just follow the curve and then bring it right back down towards the outer corner of your eye, and then we're just going to add colour and smoke it out. Now that we have a whole lot of eyeshadow on our eyes, I'm going to move on to some eyeliner, and then I'm going to smoke that out with some black eyeshadow. The best advice I can give anyone for eyeliner is just to practice. I'm going to move on to the base, which is foundation, highlight, contour. Now that our base is all set, we can go in and contour the nose with powder and contour the cheeks. And today I'm going to use the similar colour palette that I have going on up here, which is more blush tones, oranges and reds and things, because it fits the look. I'm about to look a bit like a masked bandit, but just ignore that. It's all for the sake of art. Now time for the big reveal. She's subtle, but she's there. When it comes to nose contour, I usually focus on the highlight. Now what we're going to do is do some lips and under the eyes. All we're going to do for under the eyes is basically bring that black line in a little bit and then smoke out some colour right underneath, and then put a little bit of white right under the waterline. In terms of the lips, all I usually do is make my usual Cupid's bow shape higher up. I just follow the natural line a little bit further and then curve it down into a more feminine curve. Now that the entire mug is complete, all that's left to do is put on everything else, like lashes, wig and costume. Whilst I'm doing that, please enjoy this fun montage of me creating things for this look until the final reveal. Cue the pose montage. My advice for future designers would be to take your time, and specifically take your time figuring out who it is you are as an artist and what it is you want to do and make. I think that there's a lot of pressure when you're young to have everything figured out at the age of 18. Lord knows I did not. And it took me until now, the ripe old age of 24, to finally find my true passion when it comes to art, which is drag. And I would never take it back for the world, but it took a while to get there. And I think that a lot of people, they will put themselves through so much to figure out early what it is they want from life and what it is they want to do and be when it comes to being an artist. And I just think that life is not a race, and you can change lanes whenever you like. So If you don't feel like something you're doing is for you when it comes to being an artist, you can switch and you can do something else. There are no rules when it comes to art, except sharpen your pencils. You need a sharp pencil. Well, thank you so much for tuning into this month's New Skills video. Make sure to check out V&A Dundee on Instagram for future New Skills videos and other projects and other exhibitions coming up. I've been Saturn Satanis, and I'm Saturn Satanis on Instagram as well if you'd like to follow me. So I will see you all in the queue for Greg's. Love ya. Bye bye.